We're live. We're live. We're live. First thing you guys hear is he's got this, baby. How you guys doing? Welcome to Salt Mines episode 11. We have a very plethora of guests tonight, really.
Good use of the word plethora.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good choice.
I went to school once.
Who does that anymore?
We have Junebug. What's up,
Sup?
man? Yo, people were asking about you last week. They were like, why'd you just abandon the ship like that?
I was just chilling for a week. I don't have to appear every week. Come on, guys.
Come on. We
there's other
have the AfterShock champ, Sethlon.
How's it going?
Look how easy he just kind of like, hey, how are you? Yeah, I know who I am. Thanks, I appreciate it.
I gave him that chair.
And then we have like the Brown Battalion with a little bit of milk kind of just like drizzled on there. Like I don't even know what's going on there.
Way to make it sound so dirty, dude.
It is everything on this show is dirty in one way or another. So
I'm Nebtune. I'm JV. This is Boyd.
Oh!
And the routine is ruined.
Pretty much.
I did it, guys.
I'm actually super excited because
Boom.
I'm super excited about tonight's episode because we have a ton of Texas representation. And the last time we had anyone from Texas was Lunchables, and I think we had Oracle on.
Yeah.
What was it, like week 4 or something like that.
Remember that
So those were pretty good episodes, and people always ask to have more people from Texas on, and you guys have a pretty big state, so it's good to cram you guys in there and have this go, especially after such a huge tournament. And that's pretty much what the basis of tonight's show is going to be. Is we're going to recap some AfterShock and talk about some highlights and lowlights of it. So without further ado, guys, just jump into it. Like, who wants to start?
Well, first things first, I really want to say to everyone that's tuning in, everybody at home, whenever you guys watch this, is thank you so much for any of y'all that came. Thank you to all of y'all that tuned in. Y'all are the reason why, Terry Locator's here, the reason why Brown Battalion's here, because we love this community, and we love everybody in it. And not only all the fans that out there are the people who are tuning in, but, the players themselves. We have a great culture full of people that have great stories to tell, and, it was an absolute pleasure seeing everybody come out and represent their regions between, IPK, between Junebug, between Sethlon, and, everybody really came out and did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun overall. Our first national, for us too, so that was super cool.
Really?
We've only been doing commentary for like 5 months now.
So things have been really fast for us.
That's super cool. That's super cool. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that it was like, especially for PM in particular, like there was this
big
aura, there was like this vibe, right, that just happened. And I don't know about y'all, but like I just kind of felt like that vibe kind of just like carried on for like
It did.
for a while, like during the tournament and then after the tournament as well, which I guess I'll kind of get into later on. But overall, really good times, though there are things that I would change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I had a great time as well. I always love nationals, like just the energy moving around constantly. I enter like every game, so I rarely get free time, but I enjoy it a lot. Shout outs to Blink. He provided me and Pink Fresh with housing, and really took care of us when we were in Texas. And honestly, it was a good tournament in terms of like the having fun and the hype. PM was so hype. Like you definitely got the PM centric vibe when you were there. But there were some seating issues that we'll talk about later. Overall, great tournament in terms of fun.
Yep, pretty much agree with the statements. That is great tournament, very fun. Lots of people from out of state, so there was lots of energy for PM. Very interesting overall.
Yeah, SoCal brought like 16 people.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, that was
actually kind of ridiculous.
So when you guys walked into the venue, and the first thing, like usually when you go to these big tournaments, is like you see people that kind of play, like, okay, those are the melee players, like you could tell like who's there, and that these are the PM players. But you walked in there, automatic presence. You guys like this is all about PM this week.
I wouldn't even say that though, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and like
a lot of top
just
players coming out
entering
from
into the
melee.
tournament, it wasn't really that feel. Like there was segments where people were playing, like where all the setups were in different places, so you could see people playing different games. But there was still mingling between the crowds, and like until it got to like grand finals of all
Then it was
the
very
events.
PM. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And PM was interesting in that, like, Melee, I mean, you had a few upsets, like Red beating West Balls.
which is awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was so. I was so happy for him. The rage, but Red beating West Balls, and then Zero and Smash 4 won everything as expected. PM, nobody could really predict the results. There were a lot of upsets. Every match was hype, and I think that really added to the vibe that PM was putting out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
A lot of crazy upsets, which I think made it really fun to watch. And it was cool just seeing everybody just kind of come out and how everybody kind of meshes together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Between all the different communities. I mean, but the thing that was really neat for us personally was being able to see West Balls and Axe. In particular for us, it was Axe because this man's an absolute monster, and then he comes out there and just really does just fantastic work. So we were really lucky to have the opportunity, and this is only the start of more things to come.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to make sure that everyone tuning in, make sure they're very much aware that Low Tier City is not that far away.
Ooh.
So we talk about the topic of upsets. What stuck out to your mind? I heard a bunch of different things that happened
there's
that
so
weekend.
many.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So many.
Let's look at a few of these.
All right.
So-
off the top
Big
of my
one.
head,
The big one.
I could say some off the top of my head if you don't want to go by the bracket.
Go for it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So everybody knows IPK ends up getting third place, but what a lot of people don't know is Ares Morpheus almost put him in a position where he was going to be like knocked out of the tournament if he had another loss, right? This Mario main from the middle of nowhere
Yeah.
comes out, right? He was, if I remember correctly, he was doing an internship, and so he was in the DFW area for a while
the
before
3.0
me and
2
Nebtune
days.
started hopping on commentary. So
Yep.
probably like during the summer, I
Ish.
guess.
Yep.
Yeah, and we saw him. He's reached out to us a couple times on Twitter.
Yeah.
IPK, everybody knows IPK, and so it was just so awesome just watching it just happen live.
yeah.
Like this Mario main that no one was expecting to do as well as he did, just all of a sudden making like an upset like that right off the bat. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That's the one that I don't think that not that many people remember because it was overshadowed by Dizzy beating Pink Fresh, which was crazy.
Well,
because-
Dizzy, and which was huge, but also Dizzy just really representing the South super well,
Yeah.
taking on a ton of out-of-towners and just doing so much work.
Yeah.
Like, you can watch his way through the brackets. It's just him pushing through and just kind of being that, guardian angel for
some
Texas.
extent.
Yeah.
He's a little up and comer. And then
Yeah.
he beat Drinking Food as well, which was crazy.
Huge.
That was insane. Because I know that a lot of swordsmen have trouble with Rob, and so that was just cool to watch in general. And also because Drinking Food is Drinking Food. Like, dude is no joke.
Yeah. Last time he beat Lunchables as well.
Yeah.
Last time
Yeah.
they played. Like, he's no slouch, man. Yeah.
He's good, yeah. And of course, how can we forget what ended the night, y'all?
Mhm.
Ripple and West Balls.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing.
That was seriously just the best. I think that was like seriously like the best.
I got like 5 messages on my Skype the moment it happened. And like Twitter exploded, and I was just like, ripple. I was like, oh my god, the ripple effect is real.
Dude,
Um,
it was.
What? Go ahead, go dive into it more, because it was so funny to hear about it, and then like the reactions were even better.
I was on the mic with Oracle.
Yeah.
During that time, and game 1 was pretty hype. Right off the bat, I think West Balls does either 2-0 to deaths or 1-0 to death and another almost 0 to death, right?
Yeah.
I think it was Ripple was down, 4 stocks to 2, with West Balls taking 11% in the process. And so I was just like, oh my god, this is gonna be a slaughter.
Yeah.
But somehow he brings it back, ends up getting the gifts that he needs to, and wins game 1. Whoa, excuse me. That was weird.
Oh my God.
Game number 2 happens. West Balls has a counter pick, and he ends up winning that game. And it's game 3, this long, drawn-out sludge fest on Dreamland. And if I remember right, when West Balls was down to his last stock, Ripple was already at his last stock, and he had something like 150%, something outlandish on him. It was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And West Balls just had him backed in the corner for so long. Would keep hitting him off. He'd somehow just DI really nicely, make it back over and over again. There were so many times he was just trapped in this corner. He couldn't get it. And then RNGesus sheds his light. The Gordo out of nowhere comes,
Yeah.
knocks him up Ripple has like the advantage for a little bit, and it was just scoops, dude.
All while this
It's
is
crazy.
going on
Yeah.
is like Hooch and the rest of the crowd.
Yeah.
just absolute ham hocks. It was insane.
Yeah.
Hooch
That
was so
was-
intense. I wish everyone that was watching was there at that moment because the energy was so incredible.
Pooch got so hyped that like after game one, Westball was like, "Hey man, can you calm down?" To which he did not. He did not. He got even louder. It was
great.
It was great. Like I could hear it through through like the headset. Like someone just screaming, "Oh!" It's like in the background. Like Pooch was hilarious, dude.
Dude,
Shout out to
Hooch is the homie.
It was one of the craziest sets because both players were just there was spaghetti everywhere that last game. They both had so many opportunities to close it out, and they just wouldn't do it. Ripple was living forever and recovering because Waddle Dash, and then they both just wouldn't die. Ripple got like 5 grabs that could have been converted into edge guards, but
Yeah.
just like whiffed them completely. But then finally clutched it out. It was insane.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the better matches.
Well,
in the tournament.
question for you, June, and for Sethlon. As a player that is expected to win, when you see an upset like that, do you kind of have the nerves of like, oh man, I hope I'm not next? Like that can't happen to me.
Not really.
Yeah, not really. I was just like, oh, that's cool. Like Ripple beat Westballs.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
It's not really. There's no use worrying about it. you just gotta move on with your life.
Is there any other upsets that kind of just stood out to your head? Anyone? Or is that one just so epic that it's just
So
like that's
Hero
it?
of Time was doing.
Okay, yeah.
Hero of Time actually beat Pink Fresh in winners, and then Pink Fresh lost to Dizzy in losers. That was actually Game 3 last hit. It was so fun to watch. Pink Fresh versus Dizzy. But yeah, Hero of Time just like demolished him.
Yeah.
It was so interesting to see a Link do well in 3.5 when everybody was kind of saying he sucks now because he got nerfed from 3.02. But I mean, Hero of Time top 5 at this tournament with Link, so he's definitely showing that he's still a viable character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think if anyone had asked what the top 8 would have looked like at AfterShock, I would be surprised if any single person said that a Link was going to make top 8.
Yeah.
That's just it's not something that people would expect at all. So the fact that the Hero of Time came from so far away and surprised a lot of people is really cool.
Well, if you'd like, Sethlon, I was actually going to open the show this way, but if you'd like, you can totally talk shit about me and everyone else for not even picking you in the top 3. So if you want, you're more than welcome, dude. You're more than welcome because you definitely proved this wrong. I think I sent out a tweet after the tournament saying that it was reverse psychology, that I called out you in IPK because, I was just trying to motivate you guys to get to the next level, and, it worked. So
That
you're welcome,
no
guys.
offense, but that implies I care.
Oh,
I mean, people.
God.
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what people like, who they think are going to win the tournaments. It doesn't matter what like the tiny upsets are. It doesn't matter how many games you lost, how badly you spaghettied, like the things you flubbed. Whoever wins at the end of the day is what really matters, and that's all I really care about.
And there it is.
It's whoever gets the W.
Yep.
That being said, I had to run a train through losers this tournament.
Dude, you do that every tournament. That's like the Junebug Express. Like, you just get knocked into losers by someone. And then, like, I'm just going to win 5 more games in losers. No big deal. I don't really
Stop
care.
losing, June. God.
Yeah, what the hell's your problem? Why don't you just make it a little easier on yourself, man?
It's I don't do it on purpose. I actually lost. I lost Game 3 last hit to Axe, and then I had to play like all of DFW's best in losers, then Axe again, then IPK, and then finally Sethlon. Yeah. But
No big deal.
the steam ran out at Sethlon. The Game 3 comeback that was
Yeah.
that was the reset right there. Or the potential.
You could have been. Yeah.
Me and Apollo Ali were just sitting there like, what just happened? It was so good. And I was telling Sethlon off stream, I would have loved for the second set, even if Sethlon had won. Like, I don't think that Sethlon should have lost or whatever. But it would have been so awesome to see 5 more games between you guys. That was because there were some moments where I was just like, how is Sethlon going to even make it back from that? And then he just got one grab off and just such a great punish. And I'm just like, holy shit! Like, I'm done trying to figure out how this game works anymore.
Yeah, our set was pretty insane. Like,
Yeah.
on stage, we'd both pretty much wreck each other, but off stage, until towards like the last few games, the Sethlon's edge guarding was just like 10 times better. I could not recover with him against him at all. Meanwhile, he was pulling the Roy gimmicks and recovering versus me. So
Not gimmicks, they're
Roy-
fundamentals.
that was the fundamentals. So shout outs
In
to
like
me.
7 years of playing Melee Roy, desperately trying to make it back to life.
Roy Gimmick says the guy who like side B stomped twice off the AC guard. So
That was pretty cool. I'm glad that worked.
So
Yeah, that's
fun as AfterShock was, and like even watching it on stream, you could really feel the energy going on. Everyone was losing their mind, and you saw like when Sethlon had won, everyone standing up, screaming, ovation. It was just really great. There are some issues that need to be addressed about it, and one thing that everyone's talking about is the seating. But what are some things that you feel like people who held AfterShock and people that are looking into future tournaments like Heat Waves coming around and low tier city and things like that? What are things that could be done better? That way, everything runs even smoother, and you start getting more credibility as a national.
Okay, so at least from our perspective, some of the issues that we had to do with efficiency. We wanted to use tablets in order to streamline the actual tournament process from a pool standpoint and on. That way, you can get rid of the paper aspect of things. We like to push things towards the digital age as much as possible. But unfortunately, due to the weak Wi-Fi combined with not so great tablets, that made it really difficult. We ended up having to switch midway through with paper anyways. So that was one issue. Another one was that our volunteers weren't as prepared for the flakiness of competitors in general and being able to corral them and keep them still.
Yeah.
And I think we're probably going to do a more structured way of handling the volunteer system of like having, for instance, you have these collection of volunteers, and these collection of volunteers go to this TO, and this TO, they're like 4 TOs, and those TOs can talk to, for instance, Oracle, things like that, in order to just make a better workflow for these volunteers to be able to speak to someone to have answers. That way, Oracle and I aren't just running around constantly making sure that everyone is good. As well as that, one of the issues was essentially scrubs not knowing rule sets, or even great players not knowing rule sets. Printing those out and placing them actually just everywhere is really important, and that was something that we missed. So doing that, those are some of the big ones that I found. But I'm sure you'll have more. And then obviously seeding is always an issue.
Yeah. I think at this tournament specifically, the fact that it started out as a regional and then happened to become a national like pretty much overnight really screwed up the seeding system.
Yep.
So just to clarify sort of how the tournament came to fruition, that way it can give you all a better understanding of how the way the tournament was supposed to be structured. Essentially, AfterShock was supposed to be a 16-man invitational tournament, right? And the way it was supposed to work was 8 people who went through just qualifiers throughout these past 4 months. They would get 8 slots into the tournament, and then there would be another 8 slots for people that came to a last chance qualifier. And that last chance qualifier was essentially day 1, right? And then those people would essentially get reverse seeded, 1 through 8, 8 through 1. And then you would have a top 16 bracket on day 2. That's the overall idea behind it. We ended up going with bracket pools because due to it just being 2 days and the number of setups that we were on, bracket pools was a better way to go to keep things efficient rather than round robin. Yeah, and that was essentially it. That's what we did.
Yeah, so like the qualifier system, you had 8 Texas players make it to the final bracket, and then 8 players from
Not 8 Texas players.
eight players in the region that had these qualifier events.
Yes.
I didn't know if there were any qualifier events in California, Midwest, or MDVA, but I'm
Oklahoma and Arizona, but Arizona just didn't participate at all.
yeah. So like the top 32 bracket ended up being super stacked because you had all these killers coming in,
Sure.
and only 8 of them made it out. Meanwhile, like 8 of, well, while they might be this region's best, Texas's and Oklahoma's and Arizona didn't come best. I don't think they necessarily compared to the national
I
level
understand what you're saying.
best.
So whenever a lot of people have mentioned that, but the thing to keep in mind is that this entire structure for this tournament was created from the very beginning, and the rules were there before even pre-registration were open. Everyone knew that you would have a top 8 and you'd have a last chance qualifier, so the other 8 would get in. So whenever people actually started pre-registering and it was getting into, essentially almost everyone pre-registered 2 weeks beforehand to right beforehand the tournament. To change the entire format just because people from out of state came from a 4-month-long qualifier series. Well, you know the rules.
So
It's not necessary. I understand, but it's not necessarily the onus on us to completely change the rules because you decided to buy a ticket knowing those rules.
well, here's the thing. Then, do you think that more tournaments, especially ones that could have the potential to be larger, then should prepare themselves for that situation that's happening? Then, like if you know, like, months in advance, like all of a sudden people start going, I'm gonna show up, and then more people, like, word of mouth starts getting out, like, and the possibility of players from other regions to come through, there almost needs to be some type of a backup plan or a contingency plan. Like, okay, you know what, this is probably bigger than we thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
What's our fallback plan?
So here's the problem. The problem was that we didn't even know. We thought we were going to come at a loss all the way up until like 2 weeks before the event, 1 week before the event.
How many people actually showed up total?
Probably around 320.
And you thought you guys were gonna get around?
We were hoping for 100 per event, and this would be just around the region.
Okay.
But, we opened it up, I think, a month before the event, the actual pre-registration. And then people started signing up probably about 2 weeks before. 1 week before we closed registration, we probably had about 100 registrants, not entrants, just registrants. And then we got about 200 saying, going like the day before.
What if do you think it'd be a good idea going forward for a lot of TOs and things like that to cut registration sooner, to make it a clear point that, hey, look, it's made mainly because of situations like this, to prevent having such a huge, or maybe finding a better way,
Smashers are lazy, dude.
Oh, dude,
they're always
I'm
going to
disagreeing.
sign up late.
I'm not disagreeing whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's not only Smashers, it's other communities too. Like,
Yeah,
it's the same
like
thing with
fighting
Marvel,
game
it's the same thing with
players.
Street Fighter. It does not matter. If you have it at the door, they will show up at the door and say, hey, can
I
I
don't
get
know, dude. I've shown up to everything in my life early, and then I started playing Smash, and I just everything. Now I'm 5 minutes late to everything I do. So I don't know, man. I honestly do think that there needs to be a better way of doing it. But I'm wondering if it's and even chat's coming through asking, like, well, why don't you escalating the price and doing things like, but you want to make sure it's accessible to everyone. Not everyone's gonna be able, especially if you're almost cutting out your own region by doing that, because if you're escalating the price, people that were going to travel will pay the extra whatever it is to travel. They were going to do it anyway. But the guy next door can't afford the $40 because he's been going every week.
So just to clarify some points. First off, we did escalate price. It started out at $25, and it went all the way up to $35 over time. The next thing, just to you gave like 3 points. Okay. The next thing was having a backup based off of what if it does get big. here's an example I would give. If I host a weekly and 150 people decide to show up to my weekly, I mean that's out of the realm of possibility of what I was expecting.
Okay. No,
So-
I understand. It's
Yeah,
too little, too late kind of a thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're not expecting that kind of thing. I think. I mean, we had a little bit of a weird situation happen over here in New York. Like our melee weekly, which averages like 70 people, I think had 180 because Leffen happened to be in town. So
Yeah.
people were coming from all over the place, and it's like
Yep.
you know he's coming to town, but what can you really do in a week?
Yeah.
And
I understand what you're saying. We could have cut registration earlier. We could have changed the rule set, but the way we decided, we had been running this event for 4 months, and we just wanted to stick with the rules that we had.
Yep.
And just roll with it. So.
okay, so Sethlon in June, like what do you feel that thing could be done differently?
One thing I would say about the seating, like, it does suck that it seemed to be a regional and then, like, everybody came at the last minute and made it a national, but to, like, not expand the bracket at that point really screwed over, like, the people who were coming in from out of state. I know SoCal basically ended up knocking out most of their rosters themselves from the tournament just because they had to play each other in the losers bracket of that top 32. Pink Fresh didn't make it in that top 8. Neither did Dakpo, Jason Waterfalls. So many players that could have potentially even challenged the top 8 from Texas. Maybe even better than this. I don't want to draw comparisons to say who's better, but like comparable to the skill level of the top 8 from Texas.
Sure.
I think one thing that could have been done is like the bracket could have been expanded. So like you have a top 24, and then the 8 people who got qualified got buys, so more people could get into the final bracket, or maybe even a top 32. But in terms of like preventing people from registering last minute, I don't know about that. That seems like a problem every TO seems to run into.
Yeah.
I mean, we cut it off a week beforehand. We could have cut it off earlier, but the other point I want to make is just y'all walked in knowing because y'all had the rule set.
I
So it's
actually didn't check the rule set, and I
Okay,
figured
well,
out.
but
I figured out in the menu,
understand.
and then I started
understand.
complaining.
Yeah, I know that sucks, but it's
Yeah.
just walking into a tournament, paying for that tournament, and then complaining after the fact is like it's like buying a sandwich, eating the entire sandwich, and then wanting your money back because the sandwich didn't taste good.
It's like buying a sandwich, looking at the sandwich, and saying, "Hey, there's something wrong with this sandwich," and the owner being, "Nope, you bought it."
No, you ate it. You ate the
No,
sandwich.
and he's right, June. I'm sorry.
You got
The
Dude.
sandwich would be the entire tournament.
No, June, you were really fat in this situation. You definitely ate the sandwich because I get what he's saying too.
I
You
completely
practically.
understand.
The situation is
It
this:
was
you're
just
coming.
it was a decision that we chose at the time.
Yeah, I know. Listen. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
disagree.
and you guys had to make a decision, and the tournament, like, it still survived, but in the end, like, I would have preferred if the final bracket was expanded.
What do you feel about the situation, Sethlon?
I kind of agree with the point that Blett's making. Like, the rules were online, and you should have read the rules, Junebug. And, like, days before the tournament, I don't think it's really reasonable to expect them to change the format, but
And I think personally,
certainly for the future, it would be nice if it was a bit more lenient towards people who were coming in from out of the region.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see both sides of it. I see the side where you want to expand the bracket because in a sense you might be robbing some more hyped up matches because you're cutting people out from that top seeding and whatnot. But I also see the part where you guys have had the rules up for a long time. Sethlon, obviously being in that area and a frequent person there, knows the rule set. So it's like you don't want to also screw over your own region by saying, by the way, guys, last minute, you guys have been preparing all this time. We're gonna change the stage list. We're gonna change the rules. So there has to be some type of home cooking. You're hosting it, and I don't have no problem with that. There's home field advantage in every sport. It's not any different in PM. So like, totally cool with that, 100%. Where if you're flying somewhere, Junebug, and Dude, I'm sorry. You can't fly somewhere.
I mean, come on, man.
You can't fly somewhere, go into the hotel, and just go, you know what? I did not want to come here. I just felt like I regret my decision immediately. And you know what, dude? And you got second, dude. It's not
It
even
didn't
like
really
a bad
screw
thing.
me over because I was
Exactly.
gonna make top 8 anyway. It just
Oh,
screwed
shit.
everybody else over.
He said he's locked for life in top 8.
I mean,
Life.
yeah, basically anybody who had a shot at making that final bracket couldn't because it was so hard. I mean, obviously they didn't have as much of a chance as the Texas players who got to qualify, and you know it's fine. There's no point complaining about it now. I just think
I will say this. I think
changes.
the idea of it and what you guys tried to do was an awesome one. It obviously just couldn't stick 100% to the script because of the fact there was such an influx of players. But I actually love the idea of having more things like that, like invitationals, where it's just like you guys are invited to this regional, this national. You will be, you know where you are at the beginning of this tournament. Everyone else has to earn like a chance to actually go against you guys. I think that's phenomenal. You're not the only. That's a lot of larger games do that.
I mean, Magic. We saw it from Magic, essentially.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I honestly think that if you're a TL that's looking to expand and do larger events, what's better than that? I mean, if you're a player and you get like an invite, I mean, how nice is that feeling? Like you're just like, okay, I just got invited to this, and I'm one of only 8 people that got invited, or 16 people, and I don't have to go through that hectic first day where everyone else is freaking out and shitting themselves. I know what's gonna go. I can prepare one extra day that someone else can't, and they have to earn the run. I think it's really good. I mean, we talked about it a little bit in terms of, but is there any real solution to the seating though at that point?
like besides I'll take responsibility in that I don't read rule sets and kind of just show up to tournaments. But like at that point, the only way you were gonna screw over somebody, either the top 8 who you wanted to be in this final 16 bracket and were told they were gonna be in a final 16 bracket, or the influx of people who came in who had no opportunity to qualify and just kind of had to deal with the death bracket. So, I mean, somebody gets screwed over either way. I just would have liked the Texas players who had opportunities to attend every weekly to kind of accept the fact that the out-of-state wouldn't get that chance.
Sethlon, any words on that?
I mean, I could definitely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I said, I'm cool with home cooking. I'm cool with home field advantage a little bit. Yeah. It's not like they ripped your C-stick off your controller and they're like, yo, all right, figure it out. So I'm cool with it. So you guys wanted to talk about, and by you guys I mean June and Sethlon. You guys wanted to talk about Lucario like a little bit, and then there's one topic that we did not discuss before the show that I totally think, because it happened today, needs to be brought up, and that's Paragon. Mm-hmm. Like that, I think it should be brought up. So first, discuss a little Lucario, because you guys seem like you really want to talk about it.
Oh yeah, Sethlon, do you want to start, or is...
I'll let you start. Since I'll probably be talking more from a developer perspective than a player perspective. So
I didn't really have that much experience versus Lucario. We have like a okay Lucario player in our region named Searing Arrow, and that was my extent of Lucario practice. When I played I Punch Kids, I was intrigued to find out that I couldn't challenge pretty much anything he was doing when he had meter, because he could invincible down B. When he has meter, he can cancel his down B and make it invincible into a move. So
so for anybody who doesn't know, Lucario, once he has Barrio, he has his down B, you can cancel it at any point in time into an attack. The thing to note is that whenever he does that, is that he actually gains 10 frames of invulnerability on the attack he cancels into. Yeah. So like he can down B at you and down smash, and the hitboxes are out before his invulnerability goes away.
And because of that, I couldn't really contest Lucario's neutral game. I kind of just had to camp him and wait for him to burn meter. And then he was still an amazing character with unlimited shield pressure and a great combo game. But he was I could deal with it. I could actually fight him instead of running away. So that was a bit of frustration there against IPK.
I see Nebtune rubbing his hands together. You got something to say about Lucario?
That's my character, dude. Like,
That's because you're a fighting game player. It's like
yeah, exactly.
Well, the one thing I said was you guys were talking about how great it was to have so much parity in the top 8 in terms of character selection and player style and things of that nature. So I'm almost like never pro nerf, but I can see that one thing that you're talking about, that the invincibility stuff. I feel like it could be toned down, but I think Lucario brings a uniqueness to him that kind of like Neb is saying, like he's part of the fighting game community, not just the Smash community. So I think that's awesome because you're bridging gaps there. Like he does have aspects that you don't necessarily see in a Smash game, but they're done in a way where they're not annoying to Smash. Like there are some characters, I'm not gonna even name them because I don't feel like getting an inbox. Like there are some characters where you just look at them, you're like, why are you even in a Smash game? Like you don't even feel like you should be in this game. It doesn't fit the style of the role. It's very awkward playing against them, things like that. But then you look at Lucario and it's just like, okay, I can see some of it how it makes sense, but overall it's just a fun like bridge thing between other games where it isn't over the top, in my opinion. My multiple game playing opinion.
yeah.
If it comes from someone like me, who's kind of coming back into Smash after being in Street Fighter for so long, I originated from a Melee background, and then I kind of got lost in college and trying to have a life, and then PM was kind of my way to come back into the Smash scene. So for all the PMDT and everybody else that's involved, I mean, these guys have like my eternal gratitude because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for PM. All that being said, whenever I play Lucario, it's a really, for someone who's so used to and really trained to playing Street Fighter and Marvel and you name it, Sethlon and I will go back to back. We'll play a bunch of random games of Guilty Gear and he'll bop me. But like for someone like me who's transitioning back, I gotta say the character feels really intuitive. It just feels natural. And to be honest, I mean, I really like Turbo Mode too. So I'm kind of I like a little bit of both. So.
Lucario's hype.
It's really an awesome character overall that I just love. And I love the idea that I have resources available to me that I can use to increase my character's overall viability, right? And it's up to me to when I burn them. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent of having meter in Street Fighter, right?
Yeah, and I'm fine. I mean, Lucario's design is super interesting, and it's so fun to watch. But I just don't think a character should have an invincible approach when he has meter, and he can gain that meter if he touches you, or a shield, or a balloon, or anything that he can hit. So that's like too much. The invincible approaches are just too much. I mean, besides ledge dashes.
Really quick, June, can you turn your mic down just a little bit?
Oh.
Yeah, like that pop. So like I think it's mostly hype, but just like Sethlon, what are your thoughts on Lucario?
So I'll talk from two different perspectives since they're pretty drastically different, a player and developer. So as a player, so I went into the games against iPunch Kids, obviously having seen him play a lot, seeing the ridiculous things that he's capable of. And it was actually a lot less degenerative than I expected it to be. Smash DI was really effective in making it so his combos weren't absolutely ridiculously atrocious. Once I figured out that I couldn't contest the invincible down B and play safe until he doesn't have that, approaching wasn't that difficult. And in general, I've played for a really long time. I played back in 2.1 and 2.5 and 2.6 and 3.02 where there were characters that were absolutely ridiculous, and playing against iPunch Kids Lucario didn't feel that bad. It felt reasonable.
And as a developer,
so invulnerable approaches that are safe are pretty silly.
Yes.
The fact that he's able to, so I like the fact that you can't stuff it if you predict it, and the fact that you can't punish it if you bait it is problematic. Just the fact that something is kind of similar to Kirby's Dash Attack in 3.02. The fact that you actually literally just could not grab him while he was doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it creates a problematic trait. And I feel like Lucario in general is an interestingly designed character. I think he's really fun. I mean, similar to Nebtune, like you mentioned, I dabble in every fighting game under the sun. So like I can understand the concept of the Magic series and canceling into specials and like mixing things up in frame traps and whatnot. But I feel like Lucario is a bit too over centralized on the Aura Sphere canceling. I kind of feel like he's a little bit too weak in the other areas. I wish that the development of him were to be shifted a little bit, but an asterisk that this is my thoughts on Lucario, not the entire development team. But yeah, I feel like he's not unbalanced, but he's kind of silly.
Jay, any
Me?
I'm sorry, JV.
Oh, dude.
Any opinion on it?
Yeah, as
You got brown people mixed up.
I'm sorry.
You know, hands-on wise, my time with Lucario is not nearly as much as all the other folks out there. I can only comment from a, I guess, commentator viewer standpoint, and it was just really fun to watch, I guess, because it's one of those characters who we don't really see enough of. And I feel like there's a lot to develop with that meta.
Yeah.
Our local Lucario players would be like Beck and Dartgun.
Dartgun being the homie and is fantastic at being a lab monster, going out there constantly trying to figure out new ways to innovate. But that being said, I mean, you have Beck, you have Dartgun, and I don't play as much as I wish I could because I'm commentating the tournaments and I love commentating, so I'm kind of going to choose that first. But
I don't know. I liked watching Lucario. I feel because
Lucario's always entertaining.
Yeah, it was very entertaining, especially the way that iPunchKids played. Like it wasn't like he was sitting back and just pushing like one button, and all of a sudden you'd be at 60. Like the actions per minute,
yeah, his APM is absurd.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing with it.
He's playing StarCraft. Everyone else is playing Smash.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, right? For me, it didn't feel like watching it. It was just free. Like it was more so that he just put in the time in the lab, right?
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where if he was off, then I felt like he could get punished. And more often than not, like there were opportunities, especially when it got tense, where I feel like he would kind of drop some of those combos early, like at 30, instead of say taking him to 60, 80, like we would normally see him. But I can definitely see both of your points, especially with invincible approaches being silly. But at the same time, from a viewer standpoint, it was just awesome.
So
just leave it in. Just leave it in. It's okay. Leave it in for me. If I put my name,
two things to bring up from what you brought up though. There's such a lack of, I guess, well-known Lucario players. So a lot of people don't have that matchup experience, and like you mentioned, you've played like a little bit here and a little bit there, and everyone only has matchup experience of probably maybe a friend that plays him as like a pocket character, not really as like, oh yeah, I know this Lucario main that's really good. You think that's what kind of holds back from having a clear-cut discussion of like what needs to be changed versus like I think this and I think that, just because there's just so little to actually know?
I think,
to be frank, if you want a honest opinion, if you want a Lucario discussion, you sit down Dartgun, you sit down IPK, and you sit down Beck, and I mean, you ask them what is too much, what's too little, and you just get their honest opinions.
You just you sit there and you start doing like a drug deal on the table. All right, we'll give you this, but you gotta give us that.
Yeah.
Well,
that being said, you shouldn't only ask Lucario mains because they'll be like, "Oh no, he's fine. Don't change anything. He's good."
You know,
gotta
what,
have some balance.
It's like increase this here and
let's buff him a bit.
Something that should be taken into account is that Lucario, whenever you play against a Lucario, you're playing against a character that is completely unlike every other character in the game, in that he has charges that can be used, and that grows over time. And you don't really deal with that with many of the other characters. I mean, you got like Snake with, mines and remotes, but you don't really have that otherwise. And so the concept of just playing safe, sitting back, and baiting out, invincible dashes and punishing non-invincible ones, like that just comes with the territory.
A little bit, like I guess, like a side note, I definitely want to say that it was really good and really nice to see like IPK kind of live up to the hype that was behind him. Because a lot of times we brought it up, like I'll be the first person to say it, like we brought it up like a week before AfterShock, and we just talked about how he came out of nowhere. And is it really just, is he good, or is it just a character itself? And like, it was really good to see IPK play so high, because I feel like he brought a lot of hype behind him. Like, I know for a fact there are people that tuned in just specifically to watch him play, and that goes for for June and for Sethlon and things like that. So it's good to have a character like Lucario that people would just want to see more of, the same way when people want to see Roy, they know where to go, and they want to see Diddy and things like that. They have select characters, it's like players that you want to watch. So it's definitely not a bad thing. I just the same thing when we talked about Fox the other week. I just hope it's not overdone. If it's changed, change it to a point where the character doesn't lose the appeal of it, because he is bridging the fighting game community in a way that other characters can't necessarily do. In like, you can't have a Smash-esque character in like Street Fighter, I don't think. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't go the other way, but you can certainly, with PM having the freedom of doing things like that, you can have it come, oh man, this guy plays like a Street Fighter character, he plays like a Marvel character.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But I will also say this, and to really touch on that point, I reached out to IPK a couple months ago, and I said, dude, I just watched a bunch of your combo videos. I think you are the sickest Lucario that I've seen so far, and you have really struck my fancy. When can we get you to Texas? And, it's so lucky that I got to, hang out with him and just chill and talk with him and just be able to pick his brain and watch him in person. For me, that was a huge deal, as somebody who just loves the character and mains it. And to kind of touch on that point, and if I just wanted to throw out something as well, for y'all to kind of consider. When it comes to characters and their viability and people's perceptions of them, consider that there was a time in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom where Zero was not considered the best battery in the game. And it was instead Wesker.
Or I guess for a more at-home reference, since this is a Smash
Sheik used to be #1 in Melee.
I
it's
understand
broken.
Marvel references.
And what about they used to think that Link should be banned from tournaments because the down throw to up B?
Yes.
In Melee days, like that's the one thing that I want to touch on is this meta for PM is
So
still
fresh.
so young, and there's still so much to discover about it. I think it's too soon for us to look at things and just be like, that's broken and it needs to be fixed. Granted, there are some obvious things that might stand out here and there, but at the same time, I feel like it's important for us to kind of just sit back and really let the meta develop for a lot of different characters, because there's so much unexplored ground. Like, we're just at the tip of the iceberg here. We really are. We really are. Like how long has Melee been out? Well, about 15 years? They're still discovering things for that game. And I feel like there's just a lot with PM that, unfortunately, we won't have that same experience of going through the same thing over and over again and finding new things, because we're always updating the game, right? Where it's 3.5, and then 6 months to a year later we got 3.6 on the way, and then 4.0 after that, et cetera, et cetera. So we won't have those big, I guess, weird leaps and bounds that we can have. That can, little things that can make it so that characters can change so drastically, and our perceptions of them can as well.
Or you can even look at games like Super Turbo, where characters like T-Hawk were literally at the bottom of the tier list, literally scraping the barrel, and then within the last few years is sitting there up at top tier. Like, there's the thing is, it always comes down to the amount of persistence that people have to go out and perform exploration on their characters and make that information public and show it and just show it at tournaments, right? So, granted, there's something to be said about having a great development team that is always there, that is constantly striving to give you the best experience, and they're full of really smart individuals who really do care about making things happen. But there's it's yin and yang. Maybe there needs to be more time to explore too. But who am I to say anything? I'm just.
But so speaking of more times to explore, and for more, taking underdeveloped characters and putting on display even more, there's going to be another opportunity to do that. That's Paragon. Now, Paragon, did you guys feel that segue, by the way? Oh my God.
I saw it coming a mile away as
So
soon as you said,
Paragon.
speaking of.
Paragon is just announced that they're going to have PM there. And if you haven't seen on the Reddit post, it was posted by, this is not
Raging
good.
Cherry, I think, maybe?
And I think it was, and what he had said was, I want to personally post this because, and he speaks about how much he loves the PM scene, and he goes into the fact that people that he thought were his friends and people that he thought would have his backing and things of that nature kind of dropped out of the Paragon thing, and because of the fact that PM is going to be there, and that might include sponsorship, probably more than likely did, and also it also took away manpower from him because of the fact that you're not going to have people that were going to be involved before that can help you organize. We're just talking about how, volunteers might not be ready and things of that nature. So he comes out and says PM will be at Paragon. Now, number one, how exciting is it that that's going to be a thing, especially with the, we talked about how many different tournaments were just kind of looked like abandoning the game altogether. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm super excited. The owner of one of the TOs of the tournament actually contacted Pink Fresh, and they were like, we are willing to pay for half of your guys' flight here. So me and Pink Fresh should be going to Paragon, should be teaming. So I'm really excited about that. Excited that they have such an interest in PM, and they are willing to turn down sponsors. Like, in this day and age, it's all about esports. It's all about that esports money and like getting as much as you can for your own game or yourself. And to see an organization turn that down for PM is really respectable, in my opinion. I hope it goes well.
Yeah, I might be something of a romantic thinker, but if personally that's the response I would have hoped that a lot of our more like grassroots events would give if they were talking to sponsors and they say, no, if you haven't PM there, we can't sponsor you. The fact that they would say, okay, well, I guess you're not sponsoring us then, is a huge amount of respect for me for that. And like I said, that's what I would hope a lot of the scene would do in the first place. So the fact that they are doing that is, I'm there.
There you go. Confirmed.
Confirmed.
All right, Brown Battalion.
I hate PM. Terrible game. I hate all.
I can't even, I don't even understand how people watch this shit. I don't get it.
I mean, the simple fact of the matter is that, we love the game. We love everything about it. And the fact that people are willing to make sacrifices to make things happen is great. Now, granted, everybody has their kind of own different vision of where this scene and where our efforts are going to go. Some people see that we're going to continue to be in giant hotel rooms or giant, venues that are, kind of more intimate, or we're going to be filling up Madison Square Garden with lots of sponsors and lots of people a lot of corporate backing.
I'll talk to one of my hookups here in New York City and see what I can do.
What I'm getting at is like, there's two people see these things in two different ways, and it's not for me to say one way or another, but I will say that I'm glad that people are willing to make sacrifices if that means that they can show love for the game that they appreciate in the community that they appreciate. So I definitely, while I think it's, it kind of sucks, it's kind of also something that is bittersweet, right?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It sucks that, they had to make that decision.
Yeah.
It's
Definitely.
great. I'm very happy they made the decision in this direction. I'm gonna do my best to be there too, June. We're gonna make plans together. Because honestly, what Smash has done is it's such a great in terms of you want to network, you want to like meet everyone and finally get to see those players in person. And after Shots Fired, like I'm definitely gonna go to Heatwave, and I'm trying to go to What the Fox and all that. And just to have another thing you're excited about, like you could just put that on the calendar and go like, I want to be there. I want to make sure like, I'm gonna take time off of work, or I'm gonna make sure I'm watching this stream. Like, me and Apollo were hanging out during AfterShock, and like one of the plans was like to have AfterShock being like just playing in the background while we were playing, PM, and just watching and talking about the matchups and stuff like that. So you really can get a big sense of community around it. So I think they made the right decision in terms of keeping that sense where, hey, we still have your back. It's like we know we passed up a couple of things that might have made this tournament a little bit smoother, but we're gonna go ahead and do that for the betterment of the future. Like to make sure that if we go in the right direction, that PM will be around for a very long time.
So that also being said, we have a lot of these these guys are making literally sacrifices to have PM there. All that being said, for each and every one of y'all tuning in right now, I want y'all to make an effort to do something to support this tournament. We want PM is already something that's kind of having a bit of rough treatment, whether it's regardless of whatever's going on out there, it's not being treated as optimally as it used to. That being said, all you stream warriors, every one of y'all that are tuning in, I really think it'd be great if you go out there, either you thank them, you thank some of the sponsors that are still involved in the event, make sure you're tweeting it out during the event, get your friends to watch it, or even, I mean, if they have ways that y'all can go out there, visit, just even chill out at the tournament, and, do something. If you're in the area, go see it, regardless. I mean, there needs to be some sort of show of respect and, telling them that, we appreciate the sacrifices that you made, and, you have our backing for doing it.
No, I agree. For me, like something that I've said time and time again is PM doesn't die if Juggle Guy decides it's not going to be the next big house, or if Alex Strife says it's not going to be an Apex. Right. It dies if the community behind it is unwilling to support the tournaments that actually do throw it out.
Yes.
And the fact that Paragon is willing to like make such a massive, investment of sorts, so to say, to make PM possible, it's on us if we're so vocal about wanting to see our game being played and our voices being heard, then it's entirely on us.
Yes.
To go out and make it happen and really support these tournaments.
It's easy to cry, but we need to go out there and we need to do whatever we can to support these guys. And that might be the harder path, but it's the right path.
With what you guys are saying, Junebug, quick, your rant, because this is perfect.
Yeah, I was actually going to segue into that. Like, I think that's something the PM community needs to do in general. Like, because we're kind of shut out from these larger corporate sponsors due to the legality of PM, we have to be a community-run game. Like, the community is ultimately what's going to create and destroy PM. And that being said, I think there's an oversaturation of certain content in PM right now. I go on Twitch and I see like 1 million PM streams going on at once, 1 million weeklies. And that's fine if you're Tourney Locator, if you're Smashing Grounds, if you have players that generate hype that people want to see. But I mean, if you're another region, like nobody's tuning into the Montana Smash weekly to see Hungry Head Crab. Like it's just like,
got him, coach.
Sorry. You're gonna have to take me out. I'm sorry. If you guys are listening to the podcast, and you're not, I recommend you do at like the 55-minute mark.
What just happened? I completely missed it.
He just started touching himself when you mentioned Tourney Locator.
He did?
Okay.
You were behind me. I didn't even know.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay. Back
on track. Oh,
anyways,
shout outs to Bwet, by the way. If you guys didn't know, Bwet is the overlord of Tourney Locator.
What is the homie? What is love?
the main man.
I'm not finishing that. But no, dude, like you guys, we owe a lot to Billy and Infinity.
No.
So yeah, the whole crew.
You're gonna make me blush.
That being said, oversaturation of weeklies. Back to that thing. I mean that format's cool, but there needs to be more. There needs to be highlight videos. There needs to be player streams. There needs to be a different type of content for the PM community. Because if everybody's just trying to generate the same thing, then it's not going to work. No stream, except maybe Tourney Locator, is going to reach the VG Bootcamp point where like you have 3,000 people coming in. It's just not an option when there's so many weeklies going on at the same time. So you need to hype up your videos in other ways. I mean, hype up your weeklies in other ways. Highlight videos. Net play tournaments is something I was looking into. Like, if some people got top players to just play on net play and like stream those matches, people would tune in. That's what people want to see, the top players. Like, they're not tuning into the weeklies for Sethlon demolishing his round one opponent. They want to see Sethlon versus Lunchables.
So Sethlon, anything you have to say about that? And then I'm going to definitely piggyback off what you said, June.
I think in the terms of content that Junebug definitely has a point. Like, I definitely don't want to discourage anyone from running weeklies or streaming.
No,
Like,
definitely not.
But yeah, for people as far as content overall, there could be more.
We need a GR Smash or a False or a Popper Paint for PM. Because right now we don't have any.
To make it clear, because sometimes you have to just be like super cut and dry, black and white. Like here, let me lay this out for you. There's no issue with you streaming weeklies, but when your weekly looks like shit, and you don't have any highlights around it, and there's no real hype behind it. All you're doing is taking those 10 to 15 viewers that could be on a more deserving stream, and you're taking it away from that. And that sounds kind of harsh, but it's the truth of the matter. If you're just like, hey, I'm gonna throw up a weekly during like this, and then something else is going on, but you're not, after that, all you do is you just stop the stream. You don't refer to it, you don't promote it, you don't improve it, you don't add something to it, you don't put like we shouted out Awkward 2 weeks ago, and another shout out to him for the rodents then, because what they'll do is they'll have their weekly, and then like 2 days later there's a whole entire highlight video to that weekly of what you missed, and it's like 5 minutes, but it's the best 5 minutes. Everyone wants to watch the best 5 minutes. Like, what's the best part of the movie? The damn trailer. Like, no one cares about whatever happened in the movie 9 times out of 10 because they all suck now. So people want to see that, and what you're doing is you might get more people that are like, you know what? I keep watching these damn highlight videos. Maybe I do need to tune in, and I want to see it live. I want to see it when it actually happens, and you grow your stream that way. Another thing is, I asked Reddit, and this was months ago, I asked Reddit, the PM boards, like, what are you good at that isn't Smash Brothers? And I had responses of people that edited videos, that made their own music. Apparently everyone knows like Kung Fu. That was like the craziest shit ever. Everyone's like a black belt in the Smash community, so I'm never gonna ever like shit talk at any tournament. But there was like over 100 comments of people that made their own original music, their own original videos, they did their own animations, things like that. Well, why don't you bring that into the PM community? Take that animation, take those highlight videos, take the editing, the music, you know, like if you have a weekly, why don't you add your own music, your own soundtrack? Like how great would that be? You kind of strive away from everyone else and just make it different. People like things that are different.
Something to point out is that that's what we do at Terrain Locator. I specifically go out and find people that have certain skills that, number one, that they have, and number two, that they want to grow and put into their career. So for instance, these guys, they started out as just they wanted to do commentary. I figured out what they wanted to do like in real life, and now they're doing between social media and like sponsorship acquisition. Same thing with the Not So Shy Guy. He does all of our layouts. I brought him on because he's into graphic design, and so I've just been cultivating him up, and now he's amazing. And I don't need to do anything. I'm just like, I need a layout, and then he just Merlins it into existence. And that's what we try to do, is cultivate people and bringing out their skills into the real world to give them actual experience, both on related to the community and giving back to the community, and something that they can use furthermore within their career.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. And something worth noting, like we touched on GR Smash a couple of times, that's just like a dude with a fairly rudimentary editing program in his room. And that dude gets massive hits.
Don't forget though that man is straight up plugged into the Matrix.
He's plugged into the Matrix for
like,
sure.
He literally is downloading the entire Twitch like interface like right to the dome, because he doesn't miss a beat.
I have seen him in so many stream chats. I don't know how he does it.
Big shout outs to GR if you're watching.
He is everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Is he here?
Is he in our stream?
No, it's not a question of if he's here. He is definitely here. He's just lurking right now.
I could already see the cut to the next. I can already see like the next intro cut for one of his videos. Like, he's here for real.
I bring him up. I bring him up specifically because he is just like. It's not like he has some godlike editing in general or anything like that.
He doesn't.
He's just someone who said, hey, what would be really cool is if we made these nice, short, simple montages that people could consume. And it's been working wonderfully. I think his channel has something like
55,000 or something subscribers.
He's got like something like 50,000 subscribers or whatever. But like, it's not even about coming out with the best stuff, period, right? It's more so about understanding, hey, I have stuff and talents that I'm good at. And instead of making a Reddit post bitching about something or downvoting something that's related to Smash 4 or Melee because apparently that's threatening PM, and I'm going to do that. I think it's like important for people to really like Like I remember at the beginning of this podcast, I mentioned that with AfterShock, there was like something that I felt that was like tangible in the air, especially for like PM as a whole.
Yes.
Well, now it's a matter of making something of it rather than just letting that die, right? Because we're in the moment. We've seen how hype this game can be, how incredible this game can really be. You know, whenever we were doing AfterShock, Zero was sitting right next to us. You know, that dude plays Smash 4. We had Melee people tuning in. The whole community was tuned in because of how hype, like, everything was, right?
Yeah.
And I think the best thing that people can do right now, above everything else, is just to really use their talents, try to figure out where they can really apply those talents, and then try to build the scene up in whatever talents they really have.
Look, at the end of the day, people ask us, how did we get to where we are now? And the simple answer is just do something. You don't just do something, do it well, and then talk to people about it. I mean, it was as simple as us coming up and approaching Infinity and saying, we would love to be able to commentate. We'd love to be able to help out. And I mean, for us, that's what we love doing. That's our talent. We love being able to take down, analyze, and break down and provide a service where we can help enlighten and entertain and educate people, as to why this game is awesome. Why do we love it?
Yeah, and it's not hard. Seriously, like, go to your community leader and be like, hey, you're doing a great thing here. Is there anything I can do to get involved? Is there anything I can do to help out?
I mean, I could pretty much just ask you guys, hey, $1,000 if any one of you guys knew who I was 2 months ago. Yeah.
In your room.
No one would.
Bathroom.
In the
No one.
Grab a drink.
in the study with the candlestick. Oh, clue.
That's a good one.
But what I'm saying is, like, no one, it's as of like 2-3 months ago, there's no one that really knew who I was at all. Period. Didn't really, especially in the Smash community. You just made a podcast. Here we are.
Right now in the PM community, we're in a volatile situation, so we need people to step up and just create content to help the game you love. And I'm checking out. Do you guys know who Bidoof is?
The Captain Falcon made from Canada.
The PM Salty highlights videos. Those are so good. I don't know why he stopped doing them, but he also has like net play friendlies versus top players. Like, I see friendlies with him and Emu Killer from net play, him and Tetra. So that type of content is amazing too.
Well, another I'm looking for it right now. I don't know if you guys know Kanye East.
Oh yeah, I do.
He did the Kanye report. He did only one episode. He said he's gonna come out with another one, I think, this week, and it was hilarious. It wasn't like this crazy like highlight video of combos or anything. It was him just kind of talking about, like, a 5-minute clip talking about the news of the Smash scene, but it was the way it was done. It was quick clips. It was all with funny sound effects. It was all satire, and it's just something where it's funny because it just kind of relates to the community. And I think that's just we're kind of just lacking stuff to do in between the tournaments. There's really like nothing. It's always like, oh, what's going on? What's tournament? What weekly? Like, no, there should be stuff in between that we could be happy with.
I know Sethlon was trying to start some analysis. I've been guilty of saying I was going to start streaming for a while. I just haven't gotten around to. That AfterShock money is definitely going to help invest in a desktop, though. So hopefully I can start streaming some net play.
Maybe you can get good at this game.
Who said that?
It was one of the three guys.
It was the ghost of Sethlon. Of Sethlon.
All right, that's fine. He's the only one who can say that.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, see? Yeah, totally Sethlon. Blame it all on you, Sethlon.
We said Sethlon 3 times and he appeared.
Sorry, I don't know if I caught a bug from AfterShock or it's just allergies acting up, but my throat's been killing me for the past week, so I don't have constant water.
I cursed you for beating me in AfterShock.
Apparently, yeah.
You're gonna be sick for a while.
Okay.
Yo, June, are we gonna see the return of the beard for Paragon?
Maybe.
Are you gonna power yourself back up?
I don't know if it really made me power down. It was just.
No, it definitely took something away. I think not really a skill set. I think it was an intimidation factor, because when you're coming in there with that full beard, looking like you need a job as badly as you do to win, people are like, "Yo, this guy." Listen, and it's not disrespect for June, because June has seen my beard in full motion too. So like I understand it, because like my boss tells me all the time that I should just go into the welfare line and figure out my life, but it's an intimidation factor. Like, this guy's crazy. He'll cut me to win. Like, he needs this money way more than I do.
Dog, he straight up tried to catch him with the mix-up. He tried to make him think he was JV, and then he just tried to jump in there. Dog. Like,
He's gonna do whatever it takes.
Dude, when me and June were on commentary, that was the trippiest moment.
Dude, when
it was
you
definitely
and
two
June were on
Junebugs.
commentary, and then me and Rice showed up behind, that was
weird.
good.
That was a great picture. I enjoyed that. But yeah, it definitely makes me look like a child when I don't grow my facial hair. So I think I'm gonna have some semblance of it for Paragon.
So for the rest of the episode, we're just gonna talk about facial hair, and that's just gonna be it. I think we just wrap up like that. You guys want to
Hey,
do?
man, we're getting you that sponsorship for just and everything else you need, your hair products.
Yeah, dude. Dollar Shave Club sponsoring the salt mines now. Let's go.
Please.
Oh my god, yo, I gotta get on that. I gotta start contacting some people. Do you guys want to open up Q&A? Because I'm sure this is gonna be awesome.
Do it. Yeah.
Can we? So we're gonna be waiting for some questions to come through. Do it. I think at Messi NYC. It'll highlight for me in chatty. So just tag your questions at Messi NYC. While we're waiting for those,
I see a question for me. It's how do I beat Luigi with Ganon? So like Luigi's main approaches are like wave dashing in or like Randy down B, and Ganon can kind of wall him out with his aerials and his tilts. So you just kind of have to respect Luigi's zone and just throw your aerials at the edge of that wave dash range and the down B range. And like when you hit him in a combo, just always be aware of that nair, because Luigi's love to nair out of everything. It's the ultimate combo breaker, but if you know it's coming, you can punish him for using it. So
real quick, new weekly sprang up, PM only weekly, and that's in New York City. We used to have Nebulous, now it's Nova. So huge shout out to Guru and Gambit for doing that. If you guys are wondering what happened, like if you showed up at like the venue on Sunday, you're like, why is no one here? It's on Fridays now. Our first week champ, or like inaugural champ, was Frozen, who's now won our last 4 weeklies in a row, and has been tearing it up. He beat Seagull Joe, who happened to be in town, and Emu Killer showed up. So more and more people coming through. Obviously, you have DJ Nintendo, Vans, people like that are there every week. So it's really cool. And oh my God, so many questions. Yeah, okay, Sethlon, apparently you need to money match Junebug for redemption. There's a couple
What?
of those. Yeah,
I'm sure we'll meet in tournament again.
Oh gosh.
yeah, of course.
Sethlon's like, I ain't worried.
I might go Ganon this time. But
That'd be
I
fun.
saw somebody ask Sethlon and me to go through our bracket runs. I don't know how long that would take. Sethlon, do you want to?
Junebug lost early, as usual, and then made it back through losers. That's
So
like the
that's
gist
actually
of it.
that's actually something I end up doing a lot
Yeah,
of the time.
Lu-
And this tournament is actually one of the few where I didn't. Going into the tournament, drinking food was actually one of the people that I had like on my list of heavy hitters that could potentially take me out. Because Rob is kind of an awkward matchup for Roy, and the very first time me and drinking food played, he actually put me into losers. So yeah, the fact that I ended up beating him pretty handily was nice. Axe, actually, we played at the PM Weekly before AfterShock, and I won first set, he won second. So I had a couple. The first set he played Marth, and I had a pretty good handle on him. The second set he played Pikachu, and it's kind of weird trying to figure out what exactly I was supposed to be doing in a lot of the situations. But
Yeah.
I had a couple ideas after thinking about it, and they ended up working out pretty well. And that's about it. That's Winter's Finals. After that was I Punch Kids, and then Grand
That was a
Finals.
really hype set. I enjoyed watching that.
Any
Which
questions regarding like tier list and character fixes, things like that? We kind of save them. The reason we save them is just because like we do have episodes that are around tier lists and stuff. So down the road when we bring that discussion up, because it's something that we can go to every like month or so, 2 months, whatever it is, we'll discuss way more of that. That could take up an entire like 2 hour. Like Jigglypuff should have this, and like that could literally take up an hour and a half.
Yeah, in terms of my bracket run, as Messi said, I played through pools. I had a lot more matches to play than Sethlon. Sethlon won the tournament in 5 matches. I played through my round 2 pools, my round 1 pools, and then I played through bracket. And I played Machiavelli and Ripple in bracket. And Ivysaur and DDD are pretty easy for Diddy Kong, so that wasn't too much of a problem. And then in bracket, I played Jay-Z, another Ivysaur. And then Axe. I lost game 3 last hit to Axe's Pikachu. I wasn't really sure what I was doing at the beginning, but I kind of figured it out towards the end. But he still clutched it out. Then I played Strong Bad. We had a really close set. We usually do play have close matches because Wario's combo game on Diddy is ridiculous. So that was a close set, but I ended up winning 2-0. Then I played Dizzy on stream. that was interesting. He played so flashy that I was kind of intimidated at first, but then I realized like he wasn't throwing out moves, so I just like kind of weaved in and out of his range and punished him for his movement on platforms and stuff. Then I played Lunchables, and that was probably my second closest set of the tournament. Lunchables and I were both kind of playing pretty badly that set, I would say. We had so many spaghetti moments, but I ended up clutching that out 3-1. I think every game we played was last hit until the fourth game in which he SD'd to end it. It was kind of unfortunate. And then I played Axe in a rematch, and I was ready that time. And he didn't even go Pikachu against Diddy. I was surprised. I don't know why, really, but his Marth was definitely less polished than his Pikachu. And then he went Pikachu on WarioWare, which is a good Marth stage. So I don't really know what Axe's counter-picking decisions were. But, yeah, I Punch Kid, I talked about that earlier. And Sethlon, we always have interesting sets, and he definitely got the better of me this time around. But that set was fun to play, and rewatching it is fun as well.
And this is for Neb. I'm going to ask you a question in 1 sec. I just got to kind of answer to one really quick. Someone mentioned so many people constantly ask for PM streams with big heavy hitters. Nova was a perfect example of the type of stream people wanted, yet it only had around 90 viewers. How can streams like this attract more viewers? Now, really quick, there was issues. Our soundboard fried before we went live. So we had no commentary for Nova for week 1, and we had about 100 viewers. Thank you for everyone that did tune in, because 100 of you guys just watching with no commentary, sometimes it's a big turnoff for newer viewers or people that are coming through. I personally, with Dark Blues and with Gambit and Guru, and like with me having such a focus on the stream side of things, me being like a Twitch streamer and I stream other games on the side and whatnot, I'm going to put everything I can to make sure that it grows more, whether that be through advertising or just improving it overall. So hopefully that's not going to be the case, because there are a ton of really good players there. I just think it's just general bad luck that like we finally got Nebs back, and then 2 weeks later we had to switch our day. So it hopefully will end up kind of correcting itself, because I think people want to see people like Gallo and Frozen and DJ Nintendo and Vans and all them. The question for you, Neb, was, what do you think about Lucario's crawl tilt?
Look, for me, it's like... let me put it this way.
The sweep?
I'm going into this character learning a lot of different ways to get a lot of different objectives. There's not... I think the cool thing with Lucario is there's no one answer to anything, which is kind of really neat for me personally. Like, I just love being able to go in there and experiment, so... I love experimenting. Whatever gets the job done is great. Whatever makes it look flashier is even better.
Okay. I was waiting for like a follow up or no. Another awkward silence for everyone. I think that's how we should just end the shows from now on.
Just an awkward silence.
If you ever watch like Craig Ferguson, he's like awkward silence or banjo, or I'm sorry, harmonica. This is a good question about Lunchables. June and Sethlon, how do you feel about Lunchables at AfterShock and then as a player in general?
He doesn't play well with crowds.
Yeah, Lunchables
Correct.
is a really strong player. He's smart, and like he's absorbed a lot of the information that is necessary to be a really, really good player. But he doesn't have as much experience as a lot of the other people. Like this is actually the first national he's ever been to. This is the very first time he's gone into a huge tournament playing against someone who's really good, who he's never played before, and had a bunch of people yelling in his ear. And he's not used to that, and that I feel like really affected his play.
Yeah.
It happened at low tier city as well.
Yeah.
To a lesser degree.
I mean, when you guys were first coming up in the scene and like were introduced to crowds and things like that, what was a way for you guys to kind of overcome that? If you had any issues with it, or do you just not care? I mean, I know you listen to music, Sethlon, so...
It's just never really bothered me. I did theater in high school, and I've been playing Smash competitively for like 6 or 7 years, so I just got used to crowds at this point.
Music is important.
I mean, there's two ways you can approach it, right? You can either use something to help you deal with it, or you can adopt a mentality that lets you
Like
ride
iBunch
off
Kids,
you know.
iBunch Kids thrives off the crowd, which is one of the reasons why a
Exactly.
lot of the
That's the
SoCal people
difference.
said like they were trying to be as loud as they were because they know iBunch Kids is like, yes, be loud, yeah, I want to be hype, let's do things.
Yeah.
I think with me, I don't play PM competitively by any means, but I do play 64. And the big thing for me is just I have my headphones on, pretty much full blast, but even the moments when the music lulls, you can hear the crowd like either for you or against you. And during those moments, I just remember the fact that, at least in my eyes, for this time, I am to some extent an entertainer, right? Like in the sense that there are people who are gathered around here to watch me perform. And because of that, I owe these people my absolute best, and and they deserve to see me put on a show, right? And if they're there to like boo me and throw tomatoes and all that, that's fine. Like my entire goal really is just to showcase how good I am at the game. And I can do that with really cool combos. I can do that with, very decisive victories, things like that. Yeah. But the biggest thing is essentially like looking at the pressure that the crowd is exerting and then refunneling it as the energy that you need to really make awesome moments happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really get cheered for too often. Not too much. But no, if I ever do have moments where I do hear people yell my name out and stuff like that, I fucking love it. I grew up playing sports. Like I'm a hockey player, and I've always been in that mentality of like I love being like flashy and different. I want people to get hyped over the like I'll joke around. Like my buddy plays Falcon, and we joke around about that one quote from the documentary: Falcon players don't play to win, they play for fun. Like I have that mentality. I just don't happen to play Falcon. I play Mario, and it's just like I would love it. I thrive off that. And even if they're against me, because then I feel like you want to just smash everyone's face in those words. Apparently someone keeps asking about this show, and let me see what this show is. It was actually a pretty decent question. If you guys know what the show is.
Excellent Adventures of Gutex and Mike Ross.
Yes. What is that?
Okay, so
I love that show.
Enlighten me.
This is like awesome.
I love it.
So, here's what it is. This is for all those guys out there that love Street Fighter. And Gutex and Mike Ross are guys who have been in the Street Fighter scene for a long, long time. But they are kind of now the faces when it comes to Street Fighter 4. And they have a show. It's pretty much them sitting on a couch. And originally just started with just those two playing online. And then they said, you know what? Let's bring in some other people. There's a lot of talented people out there. Let's have them jump on. We're gonna play with them, run sets, go online, and just troll the internet. Just play fun games. And they have really, really fun personalities, and they really do a good job of being advocates for the game overall. And right now, Mike Ross works for Twitch. Gutex is still kind of holding down Cross Counter TV, which is their brand. And people are really interested in seeing a show that has kind of two guys out there having fun, but also kind of bringing on some other talent and then going online just trolling people and having fun and entertaining people.
God, that sounds like it was made for me and my friends.
Their attitudes
Messi,
also...
let me tell you, homie. Me and you, I'm going to show you some stuff when it comes to that. You're going to love it.
I'm down, 100%.
Their personalities make that show. Like, Mike Ross is so overconfident. It's funny.
And then he gets bopped every time.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Gutex is like the calm... Fourth place at Evo.
So
oh my God. That's his
so really
biggest
quick,
accomplishment.
really quick. Who could you see being the duo for PM doing that show?
As long as they had interesting personalities, it could be anybody.
You don't. There's not one play. Oh God. What did Twins Unite take form of?
I don't think it would be us. We barely have enough time to play Smash as is. Aside from the streaming on Tuesdays that we do, where usually we play like indie games just to showcase those.
Yeah.
But that goes back to the community thing, right? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of good things that are happening right now with the PM community, but there's so much more that you could be doing. And those of you who are listening right now, there is a gap.
Yeah.
And someone needs to somehow, make up for that.
And if you guys really, if this goes out to the Stream Warriors, for y'all, if you guys really want to see that happen, it's up to y'all to voice it. Go ahead, and if you wanted to see it and make it me and JV make a large demand of it, and maybe we can see if something will work out.
Or if you want Messi and the Brown Battalion to do a collaboration over the interwebs.
Dude, that's too many rounds.
There's, you know what? That's so much. That's so many demographics.
Perfect.
So there's so many demographics, man. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm becoming more brown every day between Nizza, Junebug, and now I got the battalion here. Like, every day I'm taking steps toward it, and I'm totally fine with it, dude. I had halal earlier. I'm good with it, dude. I'm totally good with
You
it.
want to go out there, make some samosas, get it going, get it popping, baby.
Actually, a really great point that chat brought up. Beauty 10 Leffen playing Captain Falcon. How awesome was that? I seen some highlights. That shit was great. Anyone comments? Anything? I didn't think it was awesome. He just did his thing with Falcon.
He basically understood the fact that the way and the caliber of a player Professor Pro is, he has the touch of death. Yeah. In the sense that if you give him that opportunity, he is going to take that stock from you like that, right? So Leffen was brilliant in the sense that, okay, to counter this, I need to have a weapon of the same caliber, and he picks Falcon. Yeah. And essentially, with Falcon, you can utilize, things like movement, like all of his unique moves, especially with the dash dance mixed with wave dashing, etc., all that, to really trip up your opponent to when exactly they're supposed to come in. And from there, he'd be able to find some kind of a grab and be able to convert that into beautiful combos.
Look, TLDR for us, like, you play hype characters, we're listening. Like, we're big Captain Falcon fans. But I mean, there was also a great post on Reddit about what are more Giphy cats made of, and it's usually Falcon, right?
Yeah, so it was like twice as much they were of Falcon. He also, like, if you guys haven't seen it, there's a great gif of him quad kneeing a Charizard. Like, it was just ridiculous. It was just like, I'm watching it, and even though it was happening in real time, it just felt like slow motion every single time I watched it. I was like, this is so amazing. Yeah. Someone asked, if you're not a high-level player, how do you bring in gameplay-related content that isn't just a summary of events and news? Honestly, you don't have to be a high-level player. Just know what you're talking about. Yeah. And that's a ton. That's not just Smash. That is a ton of games where, what's the saying? Those who can't do teach.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same concept. I mean, there are a ton of people that produce content that might not necessarily be the top players. If you were to watch, like, Counter-Strike Global... Oh, God. What happened? I missed something.
I think they're indirectly.
Oh, you raised your hand?
Shots to...
Yeah, if anything, I'm calling shots myself. If you raised your hand. Well, I mean, think about it. If you watch anything like League of Legends and the LCS, or if you watch Global Offensive and they have a big tournament going on right now, you'll often notice that one creepy-looking guy walking in the background, that's legitimately the team manager. He's not playing, but he's kind of guiding what's going on, talking these different strategies, things like that. It's no different than someone that's coaching up another player in between Smash sets. It's just done in a different way. So why can't you just do content in that manner? Like, hey, if you get caught in this situation enough times, what you should do is A, B, and C, or try this. What do you think about Lucky's Fox, Sethlon?
It's hard to really say. His Fox obviously ran me over, but
it's hard to say, but it hurt.
Yeah. It was the sort of thing where he was playing really well that night, and I really was not playing well. So it's not really like a proper gauge.
I mean, Lucky's Fox is just amazing in every game.
Yeah, like his tech skill is absurd, and he picked up on a lot of PM stuff that I wouldn't have expected him to. But
yeah,
I remember, like, towards the end of his stay down here, he mentioned possibly picking up Wolf a bit more.
Yeah. He actually he came over to the Smash House and chilled for a while, and we played a bunch. He played a bunch of Wolf, and I played a bunch of off characters, and like had fun. I showed him how to set up footstool buttons and when you can footstool people and those combos.
Oh God.
No, because I remember we were chilling with him after at FX, and we were just like, dude, you gotta go by and you gotta hang out with Sethlon and the rest of the house, because there is so much, you'll have so much fun just hanging out and just talking shop. Because honestly, that's where I spend as much of my time as possible, is just chilling out with these guys, Wet and Sethlon and the rest of those guys, Crypsis, UT, Zach, I mean, Oracle, and just the rest of them. Just trying to go out there, hang out, chill, and just download as much knowledge, because that's the place to be. Like, it's so much fun, and I'm so lucky to be able to go there.
Let's see. Okay, so this is for Sethlon and June. I think it's going to be really close to what we talked about playing in front of a crowd. But when you guys first played on stream, what was that experience like? Someone said they had a really hard time playing on stream. They were just pretty nervous.
At first, I think like the first few times I was nervous, like, oh my god, all these people are watching me. But then like with anything, like you kind of just get used to it over time. Or I mean, some people don't, and they just have permanent tournament nerves. But I was pretty lucky in that. Like it just kind of went away over time, and yeah, I think I played like Brawl on stream a few like 5 years ago or something. That was the first game.
Set your expectations really low. That's what you gotta do. You know, like I got to commentate before I went on for the first time on stream, and I was just like, all right, guys, ready to show you guys how much of a fraud I am. And I just set it really low. Like I set the bar really low, and then I played pretty well. I played all right, you know, like.
Just pretend nobody's watching. Just
pretend,
like
yeah,
play.
Pretend
Yeah,
all the stream is naked. You know,
I think a different way to think about it is don't set your expectations at all.
There you go.
Is just play, just do
play.
your thing.
Just play.
Yeah.
That's a good mentality as well.
But yeah, as far as my stream experience gone, I've never really had stream nerves. I've had like other nerves, like crowd nerves and like playing against top player nerves. But I've been playing for a really long time, and I was around whenever Tourney Locator was just starting up their streaming enterprise that they have now. So like we started, getting like 30 views, and have steadily climbed to the huge numbers we get now. So I guess it doesn't really feel like a major thing for me. It's just what happens.
So speaking about you having nerves against like someone that's like a good player, who made you the most nervous?
So well, I think so Apex 2014 was like my huge come out tournament. Before then, I'd had like small regional victories, but nothing really big. Like that was the first time I really like went toe to toe with players like Mewtwo King.
Somebody wants to know what we thought about the SoCal players. SoCal was pretty funny. Like the players were really kind and nice in general. Pretty chill. Mr. Brandendorf, Jason Waterfalls, Sosa. I forget they're pretty chill.
Yeah.
They all rooted on their boys very hard. I thought Sosa, IPK, and Jason Waterfalls were all very good. Obviously, IPK being the strongest of the. Actually, I'm gonna say something that might not be agreed with, but I thought Sosa was better than IPK when I played him. His fundamentals were a lot stronger, and we were talking about the game as we played friendlies, so it was like interesting to see that he was understanding what was going on. I didn't get that level of understanding from IPK, but I mean, I didn't like talk to him during our tournament set, and obviously it's like very tense situation. But yeah, Sosa and IPK.
You didn't invite him for drinks during the set?
No, I did. Yeah, Sosa and IPK both very strong though. And Brandendorf, everybody from SoCal is really chill. So
everyone from SoCal. I said it to some of them, but once again, if you are watching, thank you for coming out. I don't even understand how so many of y'all got on. No, they drove. I think they drove.
Wow.
Some of them drove.
Some of them
at
drove.
least
Some of them flew. But yeah, I don't understand why. But thank you.
It is.
It's a big thing. It's a big thing.
It's huge. I mean, we can't thank them enough. And they come out here and they represented their scene so well. But not only within the brackets, but they also came out here. They're great people, man. They really, this community has really put faith back into me sometimes to be like, there's really good people out in the world. And Smashers definitely are a great definition of that. Lots of great jobs out there. Just being good people and just honestly being courteous to one another. So I mean, I can't say anything bad about them. They're all just fantastic people. And same, big shout outs to the Oklahomies too. Those guys, they came out, they represented so well. Mm-hmm. Shout outs to Rice, shout outs to Flash and Fire. Jay-Z, a bunch of these other guys out there, just fantastic.
Yeah, shoutouts to Machiavelli too. I forgot about him. Also, Jason Waterfalls was carrying around a clipboard and coaching people, like writing notes down. It was pretty funny.
So,
his character.
One last question, and then we're gonna cut for the night. And I'll give everyone a chance to kind of plug their channels and what they're doing in the future for PM and whatnot. The last thing, because I think it's pretty interesting, and I think it's a cool, like we're talking about content and just something to bring, I guess, more than just the Smash community together, maybe the fighting game community together. Someone mentioned that you, Neb, want to do a competition where players come in not knowing what game they were going to play. Is that still going to happen? And that sounds so awesome.
Well, all right. So
It's like
Is it
catfished on another level.
So this is something that I'm working with T-Lock to make happen, and we're gonna call it random selects, right? And I will be commentating throughout the match, and the idea is this: throughout college and kind of some of the years into this now, I've kind of done my best to go out there and find weird games, indie games, oddball things that maybe people don't really know about, and I kind of want people to be able to come out to a tournament, try it out, and just get in there, have fun, and have that randomness factor, right? So no one will know what game it will be until they show up, and I'm the one that puts it up and says, all right, we're playing X, and then y'all compete, and we see who can adapt, and we can see who can get better. All of it will be streamed. We'll work out the logistics, but I think I can say I'm pretty confident that we can make this a thing.
Sethlon, see me in Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3.
Castlevania
Oh,
Judgment,
you
though.
will get stomped by my Vegeta Final Flash.
Dog,
Okay.
it's all about that hyper Dragon Ball Z. Y'all check that out. Thank me later.
Hyper?
Dude,
I don't know.
Happening
Google it,
is
All right,
happening.
all right.
Google
message
it.
me on Facebook, and thank me later.
Google
Okay,
it.
all right.
All right, so round robin, everyone. I just want you guys to get a chance to kind of plug what you guys are going to be doing in the future with PM, because I know you guys are starting channels. You got your Twitters, things of that nature. Starting with our guests all crammed in the room together, the slightly almost all brown battalion.
Why don't we give it to Wet first, because he doesn't talk nearly as much as the rest of us.
Yeah, you know.
Oh.
Put you on the spot.
Tourney Locator.
Yeah.
Did it.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. So I actually saw a question in there just to let y'all know. The new challenger approaching. We're confirming that right now. It's probably going to be.
Whoa, wait, probably? Probably?
Huh?
Is that a probably or confirming? You said probably.
We are working on confirming
Okay.
it. We are talking to the person.
Yeah, I was for a
Right
second.
now.
I was like, how do you probably confirm something, dude?
Okay, we're talking to him. Just,
We're
getting
in
there.
negotiations.
Anyways,
Okay.
yeah, so we're talking with him, trying to figure it out. So we're going to have that coming out pretty soon. We have our weeklies. Mondays are Melee, Wednesdays are Smash 4, and obviously Thursdays are PM with Infinity and Beyond. We have a lot coming up. We have Bowser's Revenge this weekend. Sethlon's baby. That's he's been growing to be pretty big.
Yeah,
So.
it's a regional PM tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, it's PM only. Then as well as that, next weekend is that Intergalactic Kegger?
Is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, next weekend.
Whoa, it is.
Is it?
It's my friend's wedding next weekend. All right.
Yeah.
Hey.
So
Yes.
there's a lot of events down the pipeline for us, and it's gonna be crazy.
And that being said, for
this guy.
for Bowser's Revenge, I will be there. I don't know. You're gonna be there too? Maybe. Well, possibly confirming on JV too. So
It depends on things.
you'll see. But so for some things for us that we'd like to try to plug is yet again, Tourney Locator. These guys being amazing about this, but for us, Brown Battalion, we are doing a lot of work with starting our own Twitch channel up, and we appreciate anyone who can come out there and support it. We might be streaming PM. We might be streaming some indie games. We might be showing off a lot of different things. So if y'all can just come out there, jump over to twitch.tv/Brown Battalion and, follow us, give us, any of your support that you can. We really would appreciate it. And, for us, we are constantly trying to level up. We're constantly trying to push to that next level.
It's one thing worth noting is, like we said, we've been at commentary for like 5 months now.
Yes,
And I know like a lot of like the really big name commentators have been doing it for like 5 years.
if not more.
And so there's like definitely still like a lot of ground that needs to be covered, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest thing to it is just, always sharpening the saw. And I guess my plug to y'all is simple. If you're a top player for like one of the various characters in PM,
Yes.
hey, even if you're really big in Melee,
Yeah.
and you happen to be watching this stream, hit us up on Twitter.
Yes.
Because something that we'd like to actually do on stream is to have Smash class of sorts, where we essentially kind of interview you, figure out who you are, what character you play, how you really like to play the character, the options you go for, the kill setups you go for, what your goals are, depending on certain matchups, et cetera, because these kinds of things really help us as commentators when we're trying to really just enlighten the viewers in regards to what's going on, what needs to really happen.
And it goes back to our goals: enlighten, educate, entertain. And this is something that we're going to be doing consistently, and we're going to try to do our best to provide that sort of content. Twitch.tv Brown Battalion. If y'all are following, you guys are going to have a good chance of being able to see that.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. And as for like all of us, this discussion in particular kind of shows that we really need some solidarity in the PM community. So stay tuned. Like big things in the works here. Like seriously, huge things in the works. Kind of under wraps right now, but it's going to be hot. It's going to be really good. And seriously,
all we can say is for right now, we trust the work that we've done so far. Trust, we have so much love for this community. The best thing that y'all can do is just follow us on Twitter, and we will be posting as much information as we can, as quickly as we get it solidified. And look forward to more fun stuff.
Sethlon.
Okay, so I'm sure you guys see the Twitter that I have, where I'm pretty active. Anybody wants to shoot me questions, I'm... my Facebook, I try to keep like a bit more secluded and like to people I actually know and are personal friends with. But my Twitter, send any questions to me. Send me any questions on Smashboards. I'm 100% okay with responding to people. If you guys want to, have Roy advice, most of that stuff you can probably get from my guide. But anything else you need to ask, I'm of course always open for answers. I'm also I do have a YouTube account, which is just Sethlon. That's been really inactive for a while. It's what I used to use to record all the Bowser's Revenge tournaments back before we had Tourney Locator making things beautiful and pretty. And I'm actually going to be starting doing match analysis for top-level PM vids, because there's no one that's been doing that, and I think it's a thing that could happen and like help fill in content, and that would help other players understand options at a high level. So look forward to that. I'm probably going to drop the first one within the next week. So.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so...
Yes!
Dude, let me know when you're doing that.
Please, hit me up as soon as it goes up, because I want to watch that.
Yeah. Twitter in the description. Ironically, I said I was going to do match analysis like months ago.
I know, I've seen you talking about it. I was like, oh, when's June going to do it? When's he going to do it? I haven't done it, so
I actually wrote up a few for the VGBC PM videos, but they got... taken down. But hopefully that's unfortunate. I don't know what's going on with that situation, but that's another story entirely. My Twitch is twitch.tv/@ARJunebug. Not at ARJunebug, ARJunebug. The same as my Twitter. And hopefully I could start some net play and match analysis soon. I'd like to put content out there, but I haven't gotten a desktop yet. I'd definitely like to help though. So yeah, follow me on Twitch and Twitter.
Hi guys, I'm Messy. I have a Twitter too. It's down there at the bottom. I told Junebug I'm officially famous because I'm coming up on 300 followers, so it's over. I'm gonna be like Kim Kardashian. I'm just gonna get famous for the wrong reasons.
Got those abs now. Yeah.
No, definitely not, dude. Definitely no abs here. So my Twitch is twitch.tv/messymyc. I think something that I definitely want to push, especially for you guys over at the Brown Battalion, watch their channel, even if it's not PM. It's really hard as a streamer, even myself, where like I'll do this podcast, I'll have like 120 viewers, whatever it is, and I'll go to do another game that might not be PM, and the people that would watch every single night just ignore it. What you guys don't realize is helping them kind of keep the numbers up, and then getting newer viewers that maybe don't know who the Brown Battalion are and who don't know who I am. Well, eventually those followers come through, and then all of a sudden they see the podcast and like, what the hell is that? And they'll stick around for the podcast more. And now you have more people that are interested in PM. Same thing goes for Brown Battalion. You have people that are watching that indie game, maybe watching one of those free PS Plus games or something like that. Or
Rivals of Aether.
You have
I want to play that game. Oh my god!
So people coming in and they're watching
them. Alpha, homie. I got you covered. If you want to come through, come back down to Dallas. I got you, baby.
I can't come back down to Dallas.
Yeah, just come down to Dallas just for us, man.
We host 3 weeklies. Just win 2 of them, and you're good.
Yeah, you're that good, right?
So one of the things is you do want to support the channels, even if they're not necessarily doing the PM, you still want to support the community and the people that are part of the community, and people that are the personalities of the community. Which I've kind of look at myself as a personality more than anything else. So it's good to kind of spread the word of the channel because you're bringing in new players that might have never even known what PM was.
Nailed it. You nailed it. Yeah.
Brother man.
Oh.
From one slightly olive toned skin guy to one brown guy, I get it, dude. I get it.
Bless you.
On that note, man, it has been probably one of the funniest episodes I've had in terms of just the pure ridiculousness. I feel like we covered a ton of stuff that actually made sense and even more stuff that made no sense. And I probably one of the shows that is its best. Thank you to all 120-ish of you concurrent viewers that were here for the night. It'll be posted up on YouTube as soon as I can, and on iTunes and Podomatic right after that. Sethlon, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Brown Battalion and what? Oh, gang signs. Jeez, can't have it. And
Yeah.
Junebug, as always, it's always great to have you. Are we gonna awkward silence out?
Like we're just gonna awkward.
You put
Are
him
we just gonna?
Okay,
So
okay. This 3, 2, 1.
What?